Today we have a 360 degrees creator. She's like the dream of every creator. She's been creating content since she was 15 years old. And now she does all the socials. She has a podcast, she does short form, she does long form, and everything in between. So if you want to create content, this interview is for you. Let's go. Okay, Natalie, really happy to have you here. I'm really pumped because she does like a 360 creator job. So Natalie, tell me how your journey started in content creation and how that pivoted to being an entrepreneur and launching your own business.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here. But I started on social media a really long time ago. So I started when I was 15. It's now almost 14 years. It's like 13 and a half years so far. I started on YouTube and I was just filming like makeup tutorials and back to school videos, and I did not know what I was doing at all, but I just really liked the creative aspect of social media at that point, and then also I loved the community aspect of it because I remember getting like my first 3 subscribers and being like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I have 3 subscribers.
Somebody's watching me. Wow.
Exactly. And back then that was 2010, you know, it was forever ago. So the landscape has totally, or 2011, the landscape has totally changed. So I started then, but I just loved it and always kept doing it as like this side hustle or this like passion project of mine. And so I did it throughout school. I did it throughout college. Ended up like being able to quit my job and do it full time eventually. So
wow, what time and what year happened that?
I quit my job in 2019. So I've been doing it full time for the past like 6 years now. But yeah, I just always loved it, but it started a very, very long time ago.
And what point you moved from being a creator to having your own business?
Yeah, so I always knew that I wanted to be an entrepreneur one day. Like even if you watch my old videos from when I was in high school and I was 16, I would always say like, I want to start my own business one day. I didn't know what it was, but I knew I wanted to do it. And so I always had that in the back of my mind that social media was always going to be this thing that I do, but I never wanted it to be my only thing. I always wanted to like start a business on like besides that. And I always viewed social media as this tool that could help me build my business. Like if I have an audience online, then that can like transfer to customers or users or whatever it might be. So I had this idea for Rella about like end of 2021 is when I had the idea for, or end of 2020 actually. Yeah, it was end of 2020. I just started thinking about it, but even before then, I had my own agency. So I had my own social media agency where I had clients and I was a full-time creator. And those 2 things, just working full-time in social media and then also having an agency, is where I started seeing all of these like inefficiencies in the software I was using. I never thought I would work in software though. Like that was not like my plan, but I was just so annoyed with all of these tools that I was using. And I was like, there's gotta be a better solution out there. And there really wasn't. So I was like, okay, how hard can it be to build something? A lot harder than you think.
That's really easy. Yeah.
But I ended up just like being obsessed with this idea of this app. And so at the end of 2020, I kept thinking about it. And then in 2021, I started like actually trying to find people to help me build it.
So how would you say, what's your pitch, your one-liner of what does Rella does?
Yeah, I always say that Rella helps social media teams and managers just streamline their workflow and easily share content with people. So you can plan all of your content, you can auto post and schedule it out, but you can also really easily share content for approval and work with people like outside of your team as well. So we mix content management and project management together.
Amazing. That happens when you're ready, when you said that pitch so many times.
Yeah, I'm like, which version am I saying? I have like the...
She said it really on point. How do you balance content creation for yourself and for the business? That's too much.
Hard.
So how do you do it?
Yeah, because I post for Rella. We post almost every single day on Rella's Instagram and TikTok. We're also trying to post more on like LinkedIn threads, blog posts, and I do all the content for that. So I'm doing that 100%. And then when it comes to my own personal content, I also do all the content for that. And I don't have an editor. I don't have help or anything. I do like all the content on my own. The thing that is good about my personal content is that it's my life. So I don't have to really like set aside a ton of time to
you don't need approval from a team.
Right. So it's just kind of like, okay, I'm just going to film a week in my life, a day in my life, whatever it is that I'm doing that day. Or like if I'm going to film a get ready with me, like I'm already getting ready for the day. So it's not like I'm carving out hours and hours to film. With Rella though, it's a lot more planning and a lot more prep. Like what we do is we obviously use Rella, our own tool, to like plan all of the content out. So
and also
I'll have
for yourself.
Yes, and for myself. So I plan all the content out, but with Rella, it's just so much more volume because I'm posting every single day on Rella. So I have to plan out 30 pieces of content in a day pretty much. I spend the whole day planning. And then the next day, I try to spend like 1 to 2 days just like filming everything and editing everything. So I don't really have to like do it throughout the week. Those are long days, but it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, it takes all the weight out of it.
Yeah.
Do you see yourself as a creator first or as an entrepreneur first?
I see myself more as an entrepreneur than a creator because I do think that creators are entrepreneurs. Some creators are also entrepreneurs in their own right. So I do see a lot of overlap there, but I just view myself more as an entrepreneur, I would say, because I've built something from the ground up. I, work on my business. That's like my number one priority. And I view social media really as, I love social media and I will always love it and I want to do it forever. Like I'm not someone that just does it because, it helps my business. Like I genuinely love social media and posting and creating content, but I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur and that's kind of like where my main focus is now. So I would say that I'd consider myself like an entrepreneur, but first, and then a creator as a very close second.
How would you describe the power of social or how social has impacted your business? Is it 100% thanks to that, or can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, I mean, social media has changed my entire life. Like it's like the best thing that I could have ever done. I think it's different for me because I did start so early that when I turn 30, half my life will be on social media. Like that's crazy. Like I've spent half my life at that point doing it. So for me, I can't even like imagine my life without it. But I mean, it's really changed my life for the better and it's definitely impacted my business. If I never started on social, I would have never started my agency. I would have never started Rella. Like I do think I would have always been entrepreneurial and I would have always like wanted to start a business, but social media gave me the confidence to start it because I was like, if I can start this, then I can start something else. And it gives you a platform. It's such a stepping stone, like when I was starting Rella, we were like filming everything, we were talking about it. So by the time we launched, people already like were signing up, they knew about it. So the marketing came a lot easier, especially in the beginning because I already had an audience. So I think social media like gives you that platform and it opens up a ton of doors. It's just like up to you on how you decide to navigate it.
Can you tell me how many users you have right now, or at least a range?
Yeah, so we have about like 2,000 teams on the platform,
Wow.
But we also did a pivot. So we at first were a mobile app. We were based like for creators, like content creators and influencers. And we quickly realized, or not that quickly, but we eventually realized that we wanted to be more for businesses and social media teams and managers and not necessarily influencers. Like creators can still use us. I use Rella every day as a creator, but we started marketing it more towards businesses and we completely pivoted the app. Like we shut down the mobile app. We're web-based now. We completely like restarted from scratch, like from 0 users again. So we relaunched in October of last year.
Amazing. That's really respect to you because once you know entrepreneurship, being where she is right now, it's really, really crazy. So let's talk a little bit about your process of coming up with ideas and executing them. Let's talk for your personal account, like how do you come up with ideas and how's the planning for that?
So with my personal stuff, like I said, it is like my life, but I always try to be a little creative with it or at least like add value in some way. I don't just want to say like, okay, I woke up this morning and like what value does that bring? So I do try to be a bit more like motivational and help people that maybe are trying to be like more productive because I know that that's like the type of content I really like to see. So I base it off of kind of like my interests and what I wanted to see. So I love traveling. So like traveling is a big content pillar of mine. I really like productivity, motivation, entrepreneurship. So like that's a pillar of mine. And then I live in Miami and I love to like go to restaurants and try new things. So like being, doing things around like my local city, like that's another pillar of mine. So I kind of try to like bucket it in 3 different pillars when I'm deciding on what to post. And then honestly, I get a lot of inspiration from just scrolling on my own. Like I have a folder on Instagram where it's called like recreate. So I can like recreate something similar or just like get inspiration. So if I am ever feeling stuck, I can at least go there and kind of like see what I should recreate. And then I try to plan like the longer form pieces of content on Rella. So I plan all my YouTube videos on Rella, all my brand brand deals, so I know like what's going live when. And then usually like the short form content that I film for my personal stuff, it's more of either in the moment or just the week of. I don't plan like a whole month ahead for short form content.
I guess you have like this digital or not digital diary, content diary, like, okay, I have all these ideas. How do you say, okay, this is a good idea, I know it's gonna work, and this idea, I have to take it out, and okay, I like the idea, but it's actually not gonna work with my audience. How do you come up with that?
Yeah, I usually try to see like just based off of what's worked in the past for me and what's worked on, in my previous videos. That's kind of what I decide on, like, okay, this didn't work too well like last time I did it, so I'm not gonna try. But usually if I have an idea and I just wanna try it, like maybe I don't have any reference point, I'm like, I have no idea if this is gonna work or not, I just post it anyways, because you'll get feedback from your audience, and I'm just like, you know what, whatever, if it flops, it flops, but I'll post it if I want to. But if I'm not excited about something and I'm only doing it because I think it's gonna get me views, but I really don't like the idea, I'm also not gonna post it because I want it to be like authentic to me and like what I wanna post.
Amazing. So will you say it's better not to post something if you know it's not gonna work than posting it just to have quantity of content?
I think you can experiment. So I think like it's hard to predict what's not gonna work unless people tell you it's not gonna work, So for me, if I post it and it does not do well at all, then I'm like, okay, it didn't work, so I'm not gonna keep like recreating something similar to that. But I always at least try, because some of the content, like some content that I filmed that I didn't think would work or I didn't think anyone would be interested in, has actually done really well. So I'm like, oh, like if I didn't post that just because I thought it wouldn't do well, you have to get feedback from like real people, I think. Like you can't just base it off of what you think in your head. Like you have to like put it out there and test it to see if it's gonna work or not.
Talking only about short form, which platforms are you in right now?
I do Instagram, Reels, and TikTok, but I really just repost everything.
That was my next question.
Yeah.
Like, do you only reuse or repurpose? So it's
I pretty much just repurpose. Like it's worked for me. I have better engagement on Reels than TikTok, but I just repurpose it because I just don't have time to do a whole strategy for each one.
When you do short form, you think of Instagram and then reuse, or you think TikTok and then go back to Instagram?
I think of Instagram and then I reuse. But for me, I pretty much, like TikTok, the only thing I would post on TikTok that I wouldn't post on Instagram is more of that like casual, like just talking to the camera, like I'm on a FaceTime or something. Like it's not really edited. It's just like very casual, spur of the moment. I'll post that on TikTok, maybe if I want to rant about something or something like that. But for the most part, I think of Instagram first and then TikTok.
So Natalie does short form and she does long form. She does everything. So, but my question is, how have you seen in terms of conversion or working out, like which content has worked better for you, long form or short form?
In the long run, like in the span of my whole entire career, long form has actually done better for me because people get to know me. So like people that follow me, that like I have this like strong community, it's because they've been following me on YouTube and they know my life, they know my personality, they know my life. I think it's really hard to get that across on short form, especially with now like trending audios and like trending sounds. Like you're not really showing your personality or these like quick clips that you're like piecing together. So people might think like, oh wow, like that's a cool video, or I like that content style, but they don't know you. So you're very quick to just like keep scrolling. Like you might like the video, but you'll keep scrolling. You don't have any like connection to the creator. Versus long form on YouTube, I feel like my audience like truly knows who I am because we've spent hours and hours and hours together, and I'm like talking to the camera. I'm not just like making the video look pretty. So I think long form has like served me better, or like served me more in my career than short form has. But I love short form, and I think it's definitely like where things are going.
So we can say that maybe for community-wise,
I think long form
it's been better for you. So this is something that I ask all creators, because people have like this idea of, no, this girl has all this equipment and things. So can you tell us for short form, what is your basic tool set or the cameras you use, lighting and so on?
Really simple, my iPhone pretty much. Like for short form, I pretty much do everything on my phone. All of Rella's content is on my phone. Even our like how to use Rella video, which was a 15-minute long YouTube video. You barely see me because I'm like sharing my screen for the most part, but I just filmed it on my phone. Like I do everything on my phone. I do have a DJI Osmo Pocket 3, which is like a really tiny camera. I love it for long form. And I like it a lot because if I did want to kind of up my quality for short form, it does have that ability to film vertical videos also. So I think that if you're ready to like level up and invest, that's probably the best camera to get because it's easy. So you can just quickly whip it out and start filming. It comes with a microphone, so it's actually like really good audio quality. And you can
You don't put a microphone to the Osmo. It has their own
they
mic.
have their own like second like a mic that you can hold. So like you can film from far away and still, hear you, and the mic is great. And then you can also film like vertical or horizontal. So I think that's like the best starter camera.
And in terms of lighting, do you
No
never.
lighting. No, I never use lighting. I just do like natural light. So I have to film during the day.
And how did you learn how to use light? Did you take a course or was just trial and error?
Just trial and error. I think natural light has always like done better for me. I've had studio lights before. Like I've done like the box lights before, but I just never liked the way that they looked as much as like natural lighting. So I just have to film during the day.
Yeah, and sometimes you have things on night and
yeah.
Can we change the data? But well, the thing is that if the content and the value is good and it's at night, just do it. I'm
definitely more of like, what is the content saying? What am I doing? Rather than like, does it look good? Like I'm not like a cinematographer or my videos are not like the highest quality out of all the YouTubers out there, all the content creators out there. I really value like my authenticity and the value I'm providing over the quality of the content. It's not bad quality, but I'm not like over investing in the quality.
No, let me tell you, it looks really good.
Okay, good.
I really thought you had something more professional.
No, yeah.
Hey guys, just a quick break. If you want to learn what works and what doesn't in your content, you can test your videos and get real feedback from other creators on Growith. Download the app today and start improving. The link is in the description. Now, let's get back to the video. So what would you say has been, or like in advice mode, their strategy for growth in your personal and Rella's content?
For my personal, I think just being very authentic and just really showing people like my real personality in my life. Like I think YouTube has helped me so much with that because it's gotten people to like really know me and like think of me as like a friend. And so that's been really helpful. With Rella, really understanding the pain point of our user has been incredibly helpful because instead of thinking of, okay, how am I going to sell this product to someone? I start thinking like, okay, how are we going to relate that like we understand what our users are going through and like we are the solution. We don't need to like make it an ad, feel like an ad, we can just say like, this is your problem and this is what we've created as the solution. That has literally completely transformed like our marketing strategy. It's transformed the number of users that we have. Like it's been really, really helpful. So thinking of it more as like, okay, what are the pain points versus us as an ad and trying to sell something. And then with both of those, consistency. Like you have to be consistent or you're not going to grow, like bottom line.
Yeah, the consistency is key.
Yeah.
If you're not, nothing's going to happen in a month or 2 months or maybe 6 months.
Exactly. You have to be consistent even when the views are not there and even when people aren't watching. Like you have to be consistent.
Yeah, we always say it's a compound effort. Like,
exactly.
It's not one thing that is going to take you there. It's every day our seeds that you're putting in the ground. They're gonna nourish and flourish and how do you say that? And flourish.
Yeah, flourish. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So just keep on putting seeds.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about your podcast and how the podcast has helped you, I don't know, getting clients or getting users or getting more followers?
Yeah. To be transparent though, I am ending my podcast soon. Yeah. So I don't know if you want to ask me about that, but I can talk about my podcast too if you want.
Yeah, but let's in a nutshell.
Yeah. So my podcast, I've been doing my podcast for a few years now. And I think the best thing about podcasting is the people that you meet on it because it is like the number one networking hack. Like I feel like I used it for the most part to like meet really cool and amazing people. And just like when else do you have an hour of like an uninterrupted conversation getting to ask every question that you want with someone that you look up to, So the podcast for me, I kind of use as like a networking hack. But on top of that, I always just would interview people that I was like, I find them so interesting. I want to know more about their life. That means other people must find them interesting and want to know about their life. So like, let's bring them on the podcast and just have an hour-long conversation. Like, I think it's one of those things where you have the opportunity to give people a platform and ask questions that maybe they don't normally get asked or show another side of themselves. And so I use my podcast more of like giving other people a platform versus like highlighting myself. Like my podcast was not about me. It was always about my guest.
Okay, let's jump into monetization. Everybody wants to know monetization. So first, my first question is, since Rella Have you stopped doing brand deals, or is it something that you still do?
No, I do brand deals. Like I actually don't even pay myself for Rella right now. Like I it's the startup like founder mode. Yeah, no, all my income comes from brand deals. So
Does it come mainly from Instagram or TikTok, or people or brands want like the both things?
I'd say Instagram is my top platform in terms of brand deals, and then so a lot of times if I'm doing a reel, they might want it repurposed to TikTok, but it's like because of my Instagram, it's not because of my TikTok. And then I would still say that like YouTube is a second.
I was going to ask you about that. And YouTube comes like, let's say the percentage of income of YouTube, is it from YouTube or is it from brand deals on YouTube?
It's still for me from brand deals on YouTube, but YouTube has AdSense, which is also really nice because you don't have to work with brands in order to get paid on YouTube.
Could you tell us what has been your biggest month on YouTube?
In terms of monetization?
Yeah.
Or AdSense or brand deals? Or
No,
which
AdSense.
Oh, AdSense. So I don't get this number of views anymore. Like my views have definitely decreased since like focusing on Rella and stuff and like short form content. But for a while consistently I was probably making between like $6,000 to $8,000 a month on AdSense. So not anything crazy. Like I don't get like crazy amounts of views, but it was enough to be like, I remember getting $5,000 or $6,000 a month on my salary when I was working a corporate job, you know? So just to be getting that from AdSense was pretty nice because that was like not including brand deals or anything like that.
How do you decide which brands to work and which brands like I'm not gonna work with you at all?
One, I have to like actually align with the brand. Like if it's something that like does not make sense for me at all, it's like, okay, I just don't even know what I would say about this. It would come off so poorly. But then also it's, okay, yeah, firstly, okay, if I like the brand, great, then we can move forward with talking about what the scope of work is. And then after that, it's just like, okay, what's the scope of work? Is the timeline realistic? Is it worth, like, is the rate good enough, you know? But first, it's always like, okay, let me see what brand it is. And then from there, we can talk to see if I even like want to work with this brand.
Can you tell us what has been not your biggest, but the one brand that you had the most fun doing it and it really like fill you with value and love and so on?
Anything that has to do with travel is like always going to be my favorite because even though a lot of my content focuses on like entrepreneurship and stuff like that, like I love traveling. I probably travel like a quarter of the year at least, you know? So
you
like,
work to travel.
Yes, like I love traveling. So I've done like a cruise before and that was really cool, like being able to do that. I've worked with like hotels before. So anything that involves like an experience. I'm working with the Miami Open this year, so it's not travel, but it's an experience. Like I think like things like that are so cool for me. So anything that's an experience or traveling is always going to be my favorite brand deal.
And now that you mentioned traveling, do you think going there as a creator to work, does that break the experience, or you know how to do the content and then you really enjoy the experience?
No, I actually love creating content when I'm traveling because I love watching it afterwards. Like if I want to, I can go back and see like, oh my gosh, let me look back at like this trip that I took and like see how it was. And I have all of these memories. So for me, I really try to still be in the moment while also like capturing things. And how I do that is with my phone. So like if I'm talking to the camera, I'll use an actual camera. But if I'm just getting clips of like the city or whatever I'm doing, it's all on my phone. Yeah. Because I don't want, like if I have to rely on a camera to capture everything, I know that it's gonna feel more like a chore. I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna get way less clips. I always have my phone in my hand. So I can just quickly just like film things on my phone and then add it to my computer later and edit it, and it's made like way better travel content that way.
And you do all the editing?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, yeah, you told me before. Wow, that's really respect because
yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot. Why having a strategy it's so important for creators, and how Rella helps with that?
Yeah, I mean, I think nowadays everyone knows that social media is a business. Like there's money in it, it's a business. You kind of have to have a strategy to stand out and you have to be consistent. Like I said, consistency is the number one thing. And I think it can be really hard if every single day you're waking up and being like, okay, what should I film today? You know, like you're really not gonna get much done. So I think planning ahead is so important, and like having a schedule is very important to kind of see like, okay, I'm gonna upload a video every Monday or every Tuesday or whatever day you decide. That way, not only are you consistent, but your audience knows when they can find you. I think that's really important. And then also just like using something to help you see it visually, like, okay, this is the content that's going up. These are the content pillars that I'm focusing on. Does this make sense? You know, like, is this a cohesive brand? Because you are posting a personal brand, you know? Like if you're doing, I don't know, like fitness videos in one and then like a math tutor in another, like it like doesn't make sense. So you have to make sure that it's still like a cohesive brand and fits for you and like your audience. So I think Rella helps a ton, but especially when you're starting to work with brands also, it's like Rella makes it so easy because you can so easily share your content, get approvals, get feedback on like the content that you're sharing. And it just like makes you look way more professional than a normal creator.
And for normal creators, let's say, or creators that are not using Rella, what would you say it's the biggest mistake they do in planning?
I think they don't stick to the plan. Like I think the biggest mistake is like they write it down, but they never look at it again. They never stick to it. They never actually film it. I think for me, what's helped me is actually having like a shot list. When am I gonna film? Let me put it in my calendar on like, I'm gonna film on this day. These are the shots I'm going to get. Like that makes the filming process, it cuts it, but in half, you know, because I'm not thinking like, okay, what should I film? What should I do? Like I have the list of things I'm doing and I'm like checking it off the list. I'm importing it into Rella. I'm auto posting it. I'm scheduling it. I'm like planning ahead. So I think when you just like write it down somewhere, if you never look back at it, then what's the point? Whereas like, at least on Rella, you can like auto post it, schedule it, have your shot list and everything on there.
It's like your default homepage now.
Right.
Like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do today.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's like going to the gym. Like I have an app for the gym.
Yeah.
Like, what I really hate is going to the gym and like
being like, what do I do?
What do I do?
Yeah.
And also I go at 6 a.m. and I'm like, I'm really slept and like I need something that helps me. Okay, this is what we're gonna do. So that's
exactly.
amazing. Okay, let's talk about metrics. What would you say? Because this is really cool question because every creator has told me something completely different. What would you say is your key metric to decide that something has worked for personal or for brand purposes? Like what do you see? What do you take in account? Like
I usually take into account just the average of like impressions and saves. I think I don't care about likes at all. Like likes, because I also scroll through Instagram so many times and I don't like anything, and it's not because I didn't like it. It's just like I'm just like mindlessly scrolling. So I don't actually put a lot of weight on likes. I put it more on like how many people did this reach, and did they like save it? Did they send it to people? Like did they interact with it at all? Where like a like I guess is an interaction, but I care more for like saves and sends, because that means that like if you save it, you want to go and look back at it. Likes are kind of like mindless, and if you're sending it to someone, you're sending it to them for a reason, you know? Whether it's good or bad, you're still sending it to them for a reason. So I look at those metrics as like impressions, likes, or impressions, saves, and sends. And then if it did get a lot of impressions, the next thing I look at is the number of follows I got from it or subscribers that I got from it. So I'll see like, is this bringing new people? Because even some videos of mine, they actually don't get that many views, but I'll see and I got like over like a ton of follows from it. So I'm like, oh, okay, this is clearly like reaching an audience that is interested versus just like a video that went viral, but I got like 0 followers from it.
Yeah, that's impressive, because I've seen videos of people like reaching 1 million and maybe just getting 100 followers, but from 1 million, that's like enough.
Exactly.
And then you have a video that gets, I don't know, 20, 30,000 views, or you get 1,000 followers back, and that's like pure value power.
Exactly.
Has there been a moment where feedback from your audience has changed completely your content strategy or your content?
Oh yeah, I'm always listening to feedback because I always want to get better, you know, and social media is evolving, so you always have to change in order to keep up. So I will always listen to my audience if they're giving me feedback on something, because I think that's who you're like creating content for. So you want to listen to them.
Right. Besides Rella, what other tools you use?
For editing, I love CapCut. It's free. I do pay for the pro version, and I definitely recommend it, but it's a great starter tool for desktop or your app or your phone. So CapCut is my favorite video editing tool. I really just use ChatGPT to help me with like captions or scripts or just like refining ideas or getting ideas. I'll use ChatGPT. I need to try Growith because I feel like that would give me good feedback on like what I'm posting.
Where do you see the future of content? It's how it's gonna evolve, and how do you see Rella evolving with it?
Yeah, I mean, nowadays every brand is on social media, so I think we're gonna start seeing more and more of like personal brand content for branded accounts, if that makes sense. So like with Rella, people know that like I am the face of Rella. Like even if they don't know who I am, I'm consistently there. Like I'm like always on Rella's social media. So I feel like with that, more brands are gonna start having like a face of their company, and it's gonna feel more like a creator account than a brand account. So I think we're gonna see a lot more of that in like marketing in general. But then in terms terms of like personal creators, I think we've had such a wave of short form content, but I do think people like long form content still, and they want to like connect with someone. So I do see a rise of long like creators developing an audience on like Instagram and TikTok. But then if you're smart, I think that you should move it to something long form like YouTube, because that's what's going to help your audience be sticky, and they're not going to like forget who you are, and they're going to consistently come back to see you. Like YouTube, what I love about my YouTube audience is that people have to actively click on my video to watch it. Like they have to make a choice to watch my video. Reels and TikTok, you are being fed content, so it's not your choice. So on YouTube, even if it's less views, I'm like, wow, like that many people chose to watch my video versus like Reels and TikTok, it was just like fed to them by the algorithm. So I do think long form content, we're gonna see a rise in long form content.
No, actually, people, guys, YouTube is the number one social nowadays.
Yeah.
And if somebody gives you, because on a reel people give you 20, 30 seconds of their life, but on YouTube, if somebody gives you 20 minutes,
exactly, that's huge.
Yeah, you don't need that many views. It's like, okay, somebody gave you 20 minutes. That's gold nowadays.
Yeah.
If you had to give one advice to people that are starting out and they want to use their personal brand to build a business, what would it be? I
would say to start building in public. So what I mean by that is a lot of people think, oh, if I have an idea, I don't want to share it because someone's going to copy it. That's usually not true. Like you're the one that is so convicted in the idea, you've put in work, like start sharing it to everyone and start developing a wait list, start getting people excited about it, start getting your audience to like be invested in this company that you're building, this business that you're building, because then when it comes time to launch, your audience is already going to feel like they are a part of this business, and it's going to be way better of a launch than just like building in silence and then, oh my gosh, I made an announcement, I have a business, and then the night they keep scrolling and no one remembers. You know, you have to like continuously talk about it. And so I think building in public and showing like what it takes to build your business is gonna get people to feel way more involved and connected once you do launch and once you continue to iterate after that.
Great, Natalie. It's been amazing having Natalie. I really need a second part because there's so many things to ask her. So thanks for being here. And guys, follow Natalie. We're gonna leave all her socials in the descriptions, and we see you in the next chapter.
Thank you guys.
Right.
Thanks.